Welcome back to another FIFA 22 video. Today we're going to go through 5-2-1-2, top 200 pro player custom tactics and player instructions. I don't want to waste any of your time. Let's get straight into the custom tactics, then onto the instructions. So defensive style, we're going to be using press after possession loss. Probably one of my favourite formations to use this with. Pressing can sometimes drain energy quite quickly, but with 5 at the back formations, especially this one in the 5-3-2, but this one in particular, the 5-2-1-2, it works so well and your players just quickly press them. So this is here for approximately the first 7 seconds. When you lose the ball, they're pressing very quickly, trying to win that ball back as quickly as possible. Because if you do win the ball back, then you're once again in position, and you can sort of start an attack again. If you don't win the ball back, you'll sort of switch into the defensive style here, just the balanced one. How you would default. It's just for the first 7 seconds. You're going to be draining a bit more energy, but it is worth it to win the ball back, and it can work very effectively if you do win the ball back. For the width, we're going to be using 35 to bring it in narrower when defending. The left wing back and right wing back are really wide. When you're actually playing in game, you'll notice it. So you just want to bring it in narrower, make it harder for the opposition to break through the middle. But that is literally that simple. For the depth, we're going to counter the very low width and use 70 depth. So we're not playing too defensively. Otherwise, your opposition is going to have all the possession. You're going to be sitting too far back, pretty much just playing drop back, and that really doesn't work. So 70 depth, 70 and above depth, you get automatic offside trap. So I do recommend doing that. It just works really well to play a high line. So when you win the ball back, especially alongside the press, you're already quite high up the pitch with possession, and you can start a quick attack quickly. For the build-up play, I recommend fast build-up. This sort of works well with the pressing in the high depth. So once you win the ball back, the same idea. You want to start an attack very quickly and sort of get those players forward, get your wing backs forward, get your strikers forward, and play the midfield in that sort of triangle shape here. You can see between your 2 centre mids and your cam. That's an important triangle shape when you're on the ball, because it's obviously your only central players, and then you want to get the ball to your strikers or your wing backs to make it forward runs, get crosses into the box, or just straight through a goal. Which is why we're going to be using forward runs. So it leads on to the next thing as well. Forward runs just encourages your strikers and your left wing back and your right wing back on this formation to making those forward runs, making those sort of finding that space behind obviously the defenders, making those runs behind it so you can get good through balls through. It works really well. With the width, we're going to go 47, so just below default. I'm using 47 because the wing backs are in sort of quite a good positions, but sometimes that's a little bit too wide, sort of out the game because they're too far up against the touchline. So bringing them in slightly narrower, not really changing the shape at all. Just mean those wing backs are a tiny bit narrower, and you'll notice this slight bit of difference. It can sometimes help a bit to play on 47 width. For the players in box, we're actually using 4. I normally encourage people to overload the box, obviously pushing more players forward. But in this formation, we're going to be using 4, and I'll tell you why in a second when we get onto the player instructions showing you, because we want to sort of manually choose who we want going into the box. If we have it on 6 or 7, then we're going to have too many players pushing forward, and we can draw players out of position too easily. For the corners on 3 and free kicks on 2, or 2 and 2, it actually doesn't really matter what you go for with those. So your strikers, I recommend stay central, get in behind, which helps well with the forward runs, and then stay forward. This is to encourage our strikers to stay up and not coming back with defence. So when we win the ball back, they're always going to be up there. That's on both your strikers. For your cam, you want to stay forward to help out the strikers, and then get into the box across to ensure your cam is one of the players always overloading the box, and then leave the other 2 default. And then for your 2 centre mids here, I recommend using cover centre, so they always stay in the centre in their position. And then for the get into the box across, I recommend having one on get into the box across, and then maybe the other one stay on the edge of box across. It's sort of up to you. You can sort of experiment around with this if you want to, depending on which players you have as well. Will make a huge difference. If you've got more defensive players, then you stay on the edge of box across. If you've got more attacking players here, then you get into the box across. But you do want at least one quite defensive player, either a CDM or a quite well-rounded player in this position, just to play on stay on the edge of box across. So they're not always pushing up. They're going to be sort of staying around the edge. So still going quite attacking. Unless you either want to use stay up while attacking, so they're staying back in the centre mid role. If you want to use stay up while attacking, you can. I'm not really going to tell you too much what to do with these, because it's sort of up to you, the midfielder, because it very much depends on which players you have, how good your players are, and how attacking they are. Because midfielders can be so different. They can either be really defensive, attacking. So you got like Bruno Fernandes attacking players. You got Kimmich more defensive, and you got the all-rounded ones like Renato Sanchez when he gets his good special cards. So that's pretty much that simple. That is sort of up to you. For the 3 centre backs, I've all got default. For your wing backs, I do recommend balanced attack and then overlap. Obviously, I normally say stay up while attacking on full backs, but in wing back case, you do not want them stay up while attacking. It's going to play way too defensive. And some people think 5 at the back formation means really defensive. Not at all. 5 at the back is normally more attacking formation anyway. So you want balanced attack to ensure they're always making those runs up and down the wings. You need to make sure you have good wing backs who are good going forward and also quick, so good attacking stats, and they're going to be running up and down the line constantly, sort of overlapping right up against the touchline, getting crosses into your strikers, and you need to make sure you have overlap on to ensure they are staying as wide as possible. And then balanced attacks, they're not always going forward, which will drain too much energy and draw them out of position quickly, but balanced attacks they are when they're needed. And then for your goalkeeper, it comes across this, it's your keeper's coming off his line more to defend corners and crosses when needed, and sweeper keeper, so he can try and win the ball back with his hands, or just sort of clear his line when there's a loose ball or through ball coming into the box. And there's literally the 5-2-1-2. I'll go back to the tactics here so you can see one more time. It is that simple, guys. That is the 5-2-1-2, top 200, so pro player, custom tactics and instructions. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments. I'll reply as quickly as possible. But have a good rest of your day. Enjoy using this information. Hopefully I'll see you again soon.